Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome po sa ating pre-bid conference for the procurement of security and janitorial services for CY 2026. With the approved budget for the contract of 46,377,356 pesos and 44 centavos. Ma'am Net, presiding our pre-bid conference will be our back chairperson, Ma'am Maria Socorro Macaso. Ma'am Net, good afternoon. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, as to today's pre-bid conference, ma'am, we have two bidders, ma'am, from Aloha Agency and from Double Dragon, Senator and Security Office. Yes, ma'am. We are in complete attendance, ma'am. Si Sir Hassan is currently at the RDC at Asoria, but ang presently here with us at the Operation Center is si Attorney Jazz, Ma'am Jamila, and the Vice Chair Sir Renato. Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Net. Again, for our pre-bid conference for the procurement of security and janitorial services for the DSWD Field Office 9, CY 2026. The area of this procurement is across Zamboanga, across offices of Zamboanga Peninsula, for specifically for the offices of Region 9, with the approved budget for the contract of 46,377,356 pesos and 44 centavos. Okay, invitation to bid. Bids received in excess of ABC shall automatically be rejected at bid opening. And the DSWD, through the National Expenditure Program of 2026, invites for the following procurement using the lowest calculated and responsive bid as the award criterion. And as to the delivery, or the services, it will be on starting January to December 2026. And then the section of the eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in Section 2, Instruction to Bidders. Bidding will be conducted through competitive bidding procedure using non-discretionary fast-fill criterion was specified in RA 12009. The registered bidder may obtain further information from our office and inspect the bidding documents given address below. The complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by the interested bidder onwards, December 3 onwards, and the bidders given below upon the payments of applicable fee of bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in amount of 25,000 pesos. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual submission at the office on or before December 16, Tuesday. Late bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by the bid security or any acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 16.1. Bid opening shall be on 9:30 a.m. December 16 at DSWD Field Office 9, General Vicente Alvarez Street, Zamboanga City, or can be attended via Google Meet. Bids will be open in the presence of bidders representative who choose to attend the activity. And to address all communication, please address to our back chairperson, Director Maria Socorro Macaso, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, General Vicente Alvarez Street, and you can email us at back.fo9@dswd.com.ph. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of our end user, Sir Kuyo, our section chief for GenServe. Next. Instruction to bidders, sealing and marking of bids. Bidders shall enclose their technical documents in ITB Clause 12 in one sealed envelope marked as technical component and the financial component, another sealed envelope marked as financial component. Sealing them all in outer envelope marked as bid. The bid shall indicate in the bidding document shall be typed or written in ink and shall be signed by the bidder or its duly authorized representative. Ito. All envelopes shall contain the name of the contract to be bid in capital letters, bear the name and address of the bidder in capital letters, be addressed to the procuring entity back in accordance to ITB Clause 1.1, bear the specific identification of this bidding process indicated in ITB Clause 1.1, and bear a warning that do not open before the date and the time of the opening of bids in accordance to ITB Clause 19. As you can see sa screen, not limited to that format, pero yan po yung as you can perceive na lang ang itsura. Oo. Yes po. Wala din tayong specific na kulay ng envelope. Next. Yan po. To further illustrate, yung technical component natin, naka-enclose naman siya sa the eligibility documents and the technical requirements must be enclosed into technical component. And yung financial proposals natin, including the price schedule and summary of bid prices, naka-enclose naman sa financial component. And then, naka-sealed din sila and sealing them into one mother envelope, which is marked as bid. That's the mother envelope. Yan. Let's proceed po sa first envelope. The first envelope shall contain the following technical information documents at the least: PhilJEP Certificate of Registration, Platinum Membership. Please attach all 3 pages of PhilJEP Certificate of Registration. Yan po yung Platinum Membership natin. As you can see, please update the current updated Certificate of PhilJEP Registration, specifically dito rin sa ating list of eligibility documents. Failure to update will be ground for disqualification. Then next is the statement of single largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid. Similar contract natin is security or janitorial services related na SLCC with a relevant period of 2 calendar years and a SLCC requirement of at least 50% of the ABC, which is around 23 million. And FCC computation or committed line of credit. The bidder must submit a computation of its net financial contracting capacity, which must be as equal as to the ABC to the bid, calculated as follows. NFCC, current asset minus current liabilities times 15. Minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portion of the project under ongoing contracts, including awarded contracts yet to be started coinciding with the contract to be bid. The values of the domestic bidders' current asset and the current liability shall be based on the latest audited financial statement submitted to the BIR not earlier than 2 years prior to the date of submission. And if the bidder opts to submit a committed line of credit, it must be at least equal to 10% of the ABC to be bid, provided that if issued by a foreign bank, it shall be confirmed and authenticated by a local bank. Next is the statement of all of ongoing and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, either similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. As you can see, yan yung somehow yung format ng ating ongoing contracts. I-declare po natin yung mga ongoing contracts natin, including private contracts. Next is the bid security, or in the prescribed form or in amount in accordance to the ITB Clause 16, inability period under ITB Clause 15. As you can see, may latest format po tayo ng bid securing. Nakastate naman sa ating bid documents. It must be notarized. Then, in case of joint venture, duly notarized statement of all potential JV partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provision of the JBA in the event that the bid is successful. So, yung natin for joint venture. Later on, next is the technical specification. Later on, i-discuss natin yung technical specs, individual parameters na kailangan natin. And lastly, for the technical component, the Omnibus Sworn Statement. Ito yung latest version po ng ating Omnibus Sworn Statement. Naka-indicate din po siya sa ating Philippine bidding documents. And then this is a 11-item Omnibus Sworn Statement and must be na-updated po yung mga nilalaman niya. It must be, again, firmado and notarized. That's all for the first envelope. Next is the second envelope, which is the bid form, which includes the bid price schedule in accordance to ITB Clause 13. Ating bid form, nakalagay din yung latest version natin ng bid form, which includes the bid price. It can be viewed on the Section 8 of the Philippine Bidding Documents related forms and must be signed each and every page. Please be reminded, may nakalagay po sa lower part yung failure to sign each and every page of this bid form, including the schedule of prices, shall be ground for rejection of our bid. Next, price schedule. Price schedule. As to the price schedule, ito yung format natin. As to the latest format, meron tayong bago, yung summary of bid prices. Since nakalagay naman po yung nakalagay naman din po to siya sa ating bidding documents natin sa last part sa Section 8. Naka-indicate naman din tong price schedule. And dapat may signature of the bidder. Yun po yung financial documents natin. And next is the bidder's responsibility. The bidder or its duly authorized representative shall submit an omnibus sworn statement in a form prescribed in Section 8 of the Philippine Bidding Documents Related Form as ITB Clause 12.1. Before submitting their bids, the bidder is deemed to be knowledgeable with all existing laws, decrees, ordinances, acts, and regulations of the Philippines which may affect this project in any way. Bidders undertook the following responsibility. Took step to carefully examine and ensure full understanding and comprehension of the bidding documents, its requirements, clauses, and provisions. Acknowledge all conditions, local or otherwise, affecting the implementation of the contract. Made an estimate of the facility available and needed for the contract to be bid, if any. Complied with the responsibility to inquire or secure the supplemental bid bulletins as provided in ITB Clause 10.4. Ensure that it is not blacklisted or barred from bidding by the Government of the Philippines or any of its agency, offices, corporation, or LGUs, including foreign government or foreign international financing institution whose blacklisting rules has been recognized by the GPPB. by itself or by the reason of its relation, membership, association, affiliation, and controlling interest which the another blacklisted person or entity. Ensure that each of the documents submitted in this satisfaction with the bidding requirements is an authentic copy of the original, completed, and all statements of and information provided therein are true and correct. And authorize the Hope and its duly authorized representative to verify all of the documents submitted. Ensure that the signatory of the duly authorized representative of the bidder and granted full power and authority to do, execute, and perform all acts necessary to participate, submit the bid, to sign, execute, and ensuing contract accompanied by a duly notarized special power of attorney, board or partnership resolution, or secretary certificate, whichever is applicable. Complied with the disclosure provision under Section 81 and 82 of RA 12009 and its relation in relation to the provision of RA 3019. Com- comply with the existing labor laws and standards in the case of procurement of services which is applicable to this procurement. Ensure that it did not give or pay directly, indirectly any commission, any amount, or any form of consideration, pecuniary or otherwise, in any person or official, personnel, or representative of the government in relation to any procurement project and activity. Examine all instruction, forms, terms, and specification in the bidding documents. Determine and comply with all matters pertaining to the contract to be bid, including but not limited to the location of the nature of this project, climatic condition, transportation, facilities, and other factors that may affect the cost, duration, and execution or implementation of this project. Ensure all of the information and bidding documents, including bid or supplemental bid duly bid issues are correct and consistent. The procuring entity shall not assume any responsibility regarding erroneous interpretation or conclusion by the prospective or eligible bidder out of the data furnished by the procuring entity. That's all for the uh, bidder's responsibility. Next is the common bidder mistakes during bid opening, but not limited to unsealed or improper sealed envelope, outer or inner envelope not sealed, missing required labels such as name of the bidder, name of the project, bid opening date, time, address to the procuring entity, or representation as technical or financial component. Paminsan nagkakamali po yung pag-attach. And then, an updated certificate of registration, at least dapat current and updated po siya. And also, yung mga statement of compliance natin sa technical specification and the schedule of deliveries. Dapat po nakakomply po yan lahat. Yung mga common. Next. Again, tips for the bidders. Triple check the checklist in the bidding documents. Use the same form provided and sign all signable pages and bind the documents to avoid missing pages. Yan. That's all po sa aming for the technical and financial component of the bid. Any further questions po sa ating prospective bidders? Okay, ma'am, I believe let's proceed na po sa may wala namang questions po. Proceed. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon po. Tanong lang po sir, if yung documents po ng janitorial at saka sa security is separated po ba or it would be in one ano po? As one na lang po siya. Okay. Sige po. Thank you. That's all.
Okay naman, yun lang. Okay, sige. As to any other questions before we proceed sa technical specifications? As one po ma'am kasi nakalat po yung procurement natin. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, presenting po yung technical specifications po natin for the security and janitorial. As to this procurement, we are requiring 72 janitorial and utility workers across Region 9 po yan. And then 108 security guards. And again, engagement of the janitorial services who will be assigned in different offices and centers of the DSWD Field Office 9 in Zamboanga Peninsula. Janitorial services are needed in the cleanliness and orderliness of properties to secure the rights and interests of the office, building, furniture, equipment, and other facilities found located inside or outside the building or its surrounding premises. Okay. First station po natin, Field Office 9, 9. CIU 2, SWAT-T Field Office 3, SWAT-T Liloy Office 2, SWAT-T Dipolog Office 2, Pagadian City Office 4, SWAT-T Isabela City Office 2, PCDP 10, RSCC 6, Home for Women 6, ABRC 7, Home for the Elderly 6, BDSK 5, RRCY 5, Innovations 2, and Samsuedco 7, 1. A total of 72. For the stability, we require the years of service, at least 5 years engaged in the provision of manpower services. Liquidity of service provider, proof of available cash to pay services rendered are at least 2 months. Organizational setup, copy of organizational chart indicating the names and position. Resources, availability of janitors and supervisors certified by 1 year. Round housekeeping plan by the bidder. Detailed strategies on cleanliness scheme. Other factors, daily agency uniforms and ID with photos. Security services, the engagement shall be on vision of security service by 108 security guards who shall be assigned in the different offices of the DSWD Field Office 9, Zamboanga Peninsula. The security services are needed for the protection of our DSWD properties from theft, robbery, arson, destruction, or damage, as well as protection its officials, employees, visitor guests, and transacting the public from assault, harassment, threat, or intimidation through enforcement and implementation of plans, policy, rules, and regulation relative to security and safety. For stability, years of experience, at least 5 years engaged in provision of security services. Liquidity of service provider, proof of available cash to pay, services rendered for at least 2 months, copy of the organizational chart, resources, number of licensed firearms, list for licensed firearms, 43 units of 9mm. Bye-bye. Number and kind of communication devices, certified list of communication equipment, 1 radio base, 1 repeater with NTC license, 4 radio sets, 32 walkie-talkie sets. Next, number of licensed security guards, later on, certified list of The 108 security guards. Security plan, certified 1 year round plan by bidder. Other factors, the recruitment and selection must be a Filipino, male or female, not less than 18 years old, not at least high school graduate, physically and mentally fit, with police and barangay clearances. Completeness of the uniform and paraphernalia, uniforms with ID, with photos and paraphernalia, flashlight, handcuffs, police whistle, medical kit, metal detectors. And then, the terms of reference, my the SW wishes to baba pa eh. Shall be assigned. Babalik lang man. Duration of the agreement shall be 12 months, which commence on the midnight of January 1, 2026, up to the midnight of December 31, 2026. Ano breakdown yan? Qualification of the service provider should have been necessary expertise or experience providing janitorial services. For this purpose, the service provider must submit as part of the eligibility requirements of the following: certificate of engagement in the business for at least 5 years, certificate of registration issued by DOLE in accordance to Department Order number 1880 series of 2011, and use of responsibility of the service provider, the contracted janitorial service shall discharge their duty and responsibility as prescribed under pertinent rules and regulation. Provider shall agree to provide janitorial services to maintain the cleanliness and orderliness of the properties, offices, buildings, furniture, equipment, and other facilities found and located inside and outside the building and its surrounding premises. So, do janitors whose assignment and tour duties shall be at the discretion of the DSWD. Upon prior notice by DSWD, shall agree or remove or replace or substitute any or all janitors whose performance are found to be unsatisfactory, or in cases such as unauthorized absences of janitors, failure to report on duty, and called for behavior and negligence that would necessarily place the personnel be solely liable, answerable for any claims, if any, by the janitor in relation to the implementation of provision labor code rules, other laws, and other rules and regulation being enforced by the government in the connection with the employee-employer relationship. Bear all whatever benefits that said janitor or heirs may claim relative to the preceding paragraph of the relation to their employment thereat, including death benefits. Be exclusively responsible for the faithful compliance and observation of labor laws and other pertinent rules and regulation, government, employer, and employee relationship. Shall comply with the laws on remittance of Social Security System or SSS, um, pag-ibig and PhilHealth premiums of the deployed janitors. Shall be held liable and shall exempt the first party from liability from arising from non-compliance with the laws, rules, and regulations as mentioned in the preceding paragraphs, and whatever claims or cases, either administrative, civil, or criminal, arising from non-compliance of these contrary to the service provider. Next slide. Shall be liable on the losses of damages may suffered by the DSWD as the result of omission or malfeasance, misfeasance, non-feasance, fault, or negligence of the janitor of the service provider, except for the following circumstances. In the case of where the loss and damages occur inside the office, closed office, building, or compartment where the janitor of the service provider have no access. In such instances, the service provider is not liable. Unless building or compartment partially open was not prevented by the reason of or act or omission or fault or negligence of the janitor on duty at the assigned areas. Ensure that the janitor assigned to the DSWD must be free from any derogatory or criminal record from any of the law enforcement agencies of the government or any of its instrumentalities. Be responsible for the compliance of the janitor with the prescribed agency uniform during their tour of duties. provide its janitor during the tour of duty with agency ID as prescribed in the instruction to bidders. In case of the absence of the janitor, a corresponding deduction of non-performance of service shall be made by DSWD from the total payment due to the service provider unless a substitute janitor is dispatched in the place of the incumbent janitor. Deployed personnel who are not more than 45 years old, except those incumbent recommended for intention by heads of offices of assignment. Pay on its own account the salary or wages or other monetary benefits mandated by the law or its all personnel assigned in DSWD Field Office 9. Secure all necessary government permits and licenses for the performance of its service, ensure timely payment of salary of its utility, and assure the payment of the first 2 month salary of its janitorial personnel. Comply with the existing applicable laws and standard rules and regulation and warrant of payment, salaries and allowance in its janitorial personnel within legal rates. Assume full responsibility of any and all claims on its janitorial personnel relative to their employment with the service provider. And that in case of an accident, eh, injury, or illness incurred by the line of duty, the SWD should not be anyway made be liable by the service provider. Ensure that each personnel shall have 8 hours duty at most, unless otherwise requested by the second party to render overtime. The overtime to the utility who render the services when notified by the second party through the request made in accordance with the labor laws and policy guidelines. Provide for the increase or decrease of number of utilities as required by the SWD from time to time as the need arises. Likewise, the service provider shall change or relieve utility assigned in the SWD 9 and offices within 24 hours from the receipt of notification. Duties and responsibility of the SWD, the administrative division or the general service shop may monitor the implementation of the janitorial services in accordance with specification of the contract. Through the administrative division recommend appropriate measure and improvement in the provision of janitorial services by the service provider based on the feedback received. Administrative vision or the GSS recommended to the management for the increase or decrease of the utility from time to time as the need arises. The DSWD shall likewise arrange and change the relief utility personnel assigned to DSWD with due notice to the contractor, which latter gives to effect within 24 hours from the receipt of the notification. The office where the utility are deployed shall be responsible for the preparation of daily time record of individual utility personnel for processing of payroll with their agency. Through the offices where the utility workers are deployed shall prepare certification attesting to the services being rendered by individual utility worker during the given period. Payment scheme. Payment by DSWD to the service provider shall be on the monthly basis upon submission of billing statement and notarized affidavit that the service provider has been complied with the provision of the labor laws, such as those related to the compensation and contribution to social security system, PhilHealth, and pag-ibig. Overtime payment by DSWD to the service provider shall be made by request and upon the availability of funds. Dispute resolution in a matter of dispute. Should any dispute related to contract or rights of the parties arise, the same shall be submitted to mutual consultation, mediation, and arbitration. In order of the application, the venue of the proceeding shall be in Zamboanga City. Any amendments of the additional terms, in case of any amendment to the additional terms and condition to be to the contract must be signed and acknowledged by the parties. Deployment, ay na-mention na natin yan kanina. Sanction and penalties. The DSWD shall have the right to terminate this contract with the service provider for the reason of poor performance or violation of the provisions stipulated in this contract upon the advance written notice of the second at least 30 days prior to the completed termination date. Reserves the right to suspend or replace janitor found smoking or drinking during the tour of their duty within the premises of DSWD. The DSWD reserve the right to require drug testing the service provider from any or all janitors even without prior notice at no cost at DSWD at any contract implementation. And the service provider shall provide a copy of the drug test result to DSWD. The DSWD reserve the right to reassign a janitor of the service provider to any center, institute, even without prior consultation to the service provider. In case of the breach of contract, the DSWD has the right to rescind, terminate, or abrogate its contract with with the janitorial services in any of the following: falsification of license reports and other documents submitted, engagement, involvement in activities dangerous to the public safety and welfare, and inseminal to national security. In case of suspension of utility, personnel due to incompetence, the agency shall provide replacement of utility in order to not to prejudice the interests of its client. The following constitutional acts of incompetence, not limited to, related to compliance of wearing a uniform, late or failure to maintain and submit records or reports, acts prejudicial to good conduct and behavior, and other similar of the foregoing pursuant to existing laws, rules, and regulation. Use of inappropriate uniform, use of profane words or language, discourtesy, and conduct unbecoming utility worker, resulting to conflict with government employees, agency, or guests in the agency assigned, drinking alcoholic beverages or smoking and or taking prohibited drugs while on duty, and failure to comply with any of the office directives as may be prescribed during contract implementation. Yun pa lang yung sa janitorial. Next is the security services. Ibaba mo na lang eh. Parang definition lang naman yan. The duration of the agreement, 12 months, which is January 1, 2026 to December 31, 2026. Ito pa eh. Service provider should have necessary experience and expertise the security services. And as part of the eligibility requirements are the following: certificate of engagement in the business for at least 5 years, certificate of registration in DOLE in accordance to Department Order Number 18A, Series of 2021. The contracting security services shall discharge their duty and responsibility as prescribed under pertinent rules and regulation, and the service provider shall provide the DSWD with the required number of security guards who are qualified and trained to maintain security and safeguard the building, offices, and properties within the premises of the DSWD FO9, centers, SWAT offices, center and institution, and other facility, as well as the protection of its employee, visitor, guests, and transacting public. Deploy personnel who are not more than 45 years of age, except those incumbent recommended for retention by the head of office of assignment with at least 2 years of experience as a duly licensed security guard, PNP Civil Security Group Supervisory Office, or Security and Investigation Agency, SOSIA, and must have been completed at least 2 years college or vocational course. Strictly require from deployed security personnel to wear prescribed uniforms, including acceptable footwears and first aid kits, to ensure that the said personnel are well groomed and in proper or neat attire at all times. Pay on its own account the wage, salary, and other monetary benefits mandated by the law of all its personnel assigned in DSWD FO9, provided that its own expenses of all necessary supplies and equipment from the performance of its security works, submit individual security plan for the purpose of maintaining law and order of the DSWD FO9, centers and institution and other facilities, secure all necessary licenses, permits for the performance of its services, be civilly liable after due process for any loss and damages to the property committed through theft or other surreptitious means or as a result of fault or negligence of the security personnel, which loss or damage is suffered by the SWD FO9, so the offices, centers, and institutions and other facilities, and any of its guests within the client's premises during the tour of duty of the security personnel, If any, the loss or damage shall be reported to the general service provider through the general service section within 72 hours. Ensure the timely payment of salaries of its security personnel and assume that the payment of the first 2 months' salaries for its security personnel comply with the existing available labor laws and standard rules and regulation and warrant payment of salaries and allowance of its security personnel with legal rates. Assume full responsibility of any and all claims of its security personnel relative to their employment, and that in case of accident, injury, or illness incurred in the line of duty, DSWD FO9 should not be anyway be liable by the services provider. Be responsible in the filing of report to the police, appropriate authority, or immediate supervisor for any incident involving police matter, theft, or robbery. Ensure no straight or 24 hours tour of duty in the deployment of the guards at all DSWD FO offices. Ensure that each of the personnel shall have at least 8-hour duty at least. Provide the increase or decrease of the number of security guard as required by the DSWD Field Office 9 from time to time as the need arises. Likewise, the service provider shall change, relieve security guards assigned to any of the DSWD Field Office 9 offices within the 24 hours from the receipt of notification for non-compliance with the agreement subject for the approval of the regional director. Comply with the policies, rules, and regulations that may be issued during service contract implementation, if any, and turn over all the DSWD FO9, all logbooks upon termination of the contract. Duties and responsibilities, DSWD, the admin division or the general services section is authorized to monitor the implementation of security services in accordance with the specification and condition of the contract. The GenServe and the admin division recommend appropriate measure, the improvement and provision of security by the service provider based on the feedback received, and shall recommend to the management for the increase or decrease in the number of securities from time to time as the need arises. The DSWD shall likewise arrange for the change or relief of the security personnel assigned to the DSWD with due notice to the service provider, which the latter agree to effect within 24 hours from the receipt of notification. The head of office where the security guards are deployed shall be responsible for the preparation of DTR of the individual security guard for the processing of payrolls and with their agency. Through the offices shall be prepared certification attesting to the services being rendered by the individual security guard during a given period. Payment Payment to the service provider shall be on a monthly basis upon submission of the billing statement. Dispute resolution in the matter of dispute should be any dispute related to the contract or rights of the party arises the same shall be submitted to mutual consultation, mediation, arbitration in order of application. The venue of the proceeding shall be in Zamboanga City. In case of the court suit, the venue shall be in the court's competent jurisdiction of Zamboanga City to the exclusion of all other courts. And any amendments or additional terms and conditions to the contract must be in writing, signed, and acknowledged by the party. The security plan. This plan provides measures to the counteract any forms of security threat in the given situation. The following guidelines shall be observed by the security group servicing the entire DSWD FO9 offices. Emergency situation. This role shall come into play both for the prevention of accident and in the emergency response. The special responsibility that generally falls to the security and emergency situations are as follows. Control of access. This will include maintaining records of all persons entering or leaving the DSWD premises during emergency situation. Traffic control includes providing an impeded access of outside emergency units, security, or, for example, will meet responding fire department or bomb squad units provided the information as to the location and type of emergency. Protection of property, physical security become even more essential when the facility is evacuated or the confusion upon accompanying Major disaster. Prevention of theft, looting, sabotage, and espionage. Direction and control of personnel, direction and control of evacuation procedure, assistance in terms of first aid, rescue and other emergency needs, protection of vital information, documents, records, etc., control of hazardous areas, classified areas, high value areas or property, establishing communications with outside agencies such as the local law, enforcement, fire department, hospital ambulance service and Red Cross, assisting injured employees, guiding employees and visitors to safe areas, crowd control, preventing panic, firefighting, and other special duties covered by the local circumstances. Deployment of security guard, the contracted service provider are deployed in the following posts with their required firearms, handheld radios as may be required, and other equipment in the performance of the duty, function as security guards. Standard operating procedure, personal and visitor, all DSWD, visitor, guests, personnel of service agency, janitorial, and are required to wear identification cards upon entering on and while inside the building. Beyond the office hours, no employee unless authorized to render overtime may be allowed to enter to stay in the building or its premises. The movement the movement of employees authorized to render overtime shall be confined in their respective office work areas as well as their ingress or egress unless otherwise indicated in their overtime authority. The cooperation of all the SWD personnel on the form stated is required to avoid friction when these are enforced. The security guards are on hand to ensure compliance with the said requirements and all bags, packages, attaché cases, and similar carry-alls being brought in or out of the building by the SWD personal visitors, guests, students, and contracted services personnel shall be inspected by the security guards on duty, especially during national or localized crises, such as when ban threats are received by the office. Vehicle control, security office provided a list of officers authorized to sign trip ticket, including the specimen of their signature for the guidance of the guards on duty. All the SWD vehicles are used only for official business and should leave accompanied with the corresponding trip ticket. The guard on duty must record the departure of all vehicles, including the names of the driver and the passenger of the condition of the vehicle and the both instances. The guard must report, document any damage, loss, or of accessories of the SWD vehicle. Record time of the arrival and departure of all drivers and plate numbers of vehicle and ensure that the parked cars or vehicle do not obstruct passageway. Equipment requirements, support for 108 security guards, firearms, 43 units of 9mm pistol, communication, handheld radios, walkie-talkie, flashlight, medical kit, police whistle, and handcuff. Restriction on firearms. Firearms are to be carried by the security guard during their tour of duty while in proper uniform or within the DSWD premises. Sanction and penalties. In case of the breach of contract, the SW has the right to rescind, terminate, or abrogate its contract with the security services if any. Falsification of license, reports, and other documents submitted, engagement involvement of activities dangerous to the public safety and welfare of or is criminal to national security. In case of suspension of security personnel due to incompetence, the agency shall provide a replacement of guard in order not to prejudice the interest of its client. The following acts of incompetence are those related to compliance in wearing uniform, late and failure to maintain, submit reports, all acts prejudicial to the good conduct and behavior of others similar to the foregoing pursuance of existing laws, rules and regulations, use of inappropriate uniform, use of profane words or language, exercising the profession of security guard without being duly licensed, discourtesy and conduct unbecoming a security guard resulting in conflict with government employees, agency or guests in the agency assigned, carrying personally owned firearms or other deadly weapons, whether on duty or not, failure to notify or call the nearest PNP station in case of emergency situation. Drinking alcoholic beverage or smoking or taking prohibited drugs while on duty. Failure to comply with any of the office directive as may be prescribed during contract implementation. Use or use or employment of security guards for purpose of committing threats, intimidation, coercion, or any crime offense, including a show of force. Include issuing to guards unlicensed firearms and posting of unlicensed guard. Okay. So, papresent pa tayo ng isa. The list of the janitorial supplies and for the nila to sino na umusel mo isa. Okay. Supplies of the monthly basis. Ayun. Spray, freshener, car air freshener, scented gel, fabric conditioner, soap powder, automatic blue bubble deodorizer, toilet deodorant cake round with 50-gram scented, 70 ethyl alcohol 1 gallon, and liquid hand soap 1 gallon scented, jumbo roll toilet tissue, furniture polish lemon scent, disinfectant spray scented, acid bathroom multipurpose cleaner and deodorizer, multi-purpose bleach for home and laundry 61 total clean, papapay. Red garbage bag, medium size, yellow garbage bag, medium size, and green garbage bag, medium size. Blue garbage bag, medium size. Black garbage bag, medium size. Sige pa. Okay. Microfiber cleaning towel, liquid chlorine, and hang-in air freshener bathroom deodorizer. Next. Plastic hand bath brush, supplies on a quarterly basis. Plastic handy bath brush, spray empathy bottle, carpet welcome mats, front door durable rubber, carpet bathroom mats, non-slip, latex rubber gloves, three-ply disposable face mask, soap broom, magic spin, cleaning tool bed, toilet brush holder, two-in-one cleaning brush, floor mop head, refill cotton with wrap screw, plastic pail, water container, red color, commercial industrial cotton dust, um, flip cover talcum powder, two-ply bathroom roll tissue, and plastic diaper or tabo, deeper, red color, big size. And additional cleaning equipment, outdoor garbage, automatic alcohol dispenser, stainless pedal brush bin, water hose or spray hazel inserter connectors, seal platform push cart, portable vacuum cleaner, wet and dry industrial floor polisher, round blue handle lifter, gallon water, caution with caution tape, and two sets of walkie-talkie with Bluetooth long range two-way. Okay. That's all for the technical specs. Balik tayo sa BidDocs A. Mm. Sa attorney. Department order. Parang in compliance with which order sa tiyan naman dito dali. Questions po sa ating prospective bidders or clarifications or queries? Yes, any questions, ma'am? Okay lang. Wala.
Yes, good afternoon. So just want to clarify, for the agency margin ba, okay lang ba 20% lahat or pwede bumaba ng 20% for the agency margin?
Is silent siya. Ito kasi common conflict between Republic Act 12009 at saka yung laws on security industry, no? Kahit pa sa 9184, nagka-conflict pa yan, nagka-conflict na yan. Um, pero kung titingnan natin yung mga non-policy matters ng 9184, um, hindi nire-recognize ang estimates ng DOLE. Ang 12009 silent lang yun. Kasi altogether, ang 9184 has been superseded na.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Ma'am, ma'am, ano may questions kaya? Hearing none. Okay na, ma'am, sir? Siguro okay na tayo. Wala na tayong further questions. I believe we can Ma'am Net, I believe no further questions from our prospective bidders, ma'am. Any final message, ma'am, before adjournment? Thank you. Ay, ma'am, kwan lang yan, ma'am, yung sa nagkamali yung first text ko, ma'am. Error lang po yan. Hindi, error lang po yan, ma'am. Tapos na tayo nag-kwan yan, ma'am. Nagkamali ako. Dalawa yung text ko, ma'am. Please, comment na lang natin sa tapos na yan siya, ma'am. Bale, nagkamali lang ako ng GM, ma'am. Pero as to our, please submit na lang din sa Yes po, yes po, ma'am. Thank you, Ma'am Net. Thank you, Ma'am. Hope to see you sa bid opening. Tomorrow, ma'am, yes, ma'am, we have our pre-bid conference po bukas, ma'am. Mm. Thank you, ma'am. Sige, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We will be na lang. Okay, okay, ma'am. Sige. We will maximize our time, ma'am. 3 o'clock, ma'am, no? 3 o'clock na lang. We will be make